I knew you'd be around soon. Welcome back to Dark Souls 2. Last time we took a bit of a boat ride. This episode, we're not really going to explore very much of this new locale. There are a couple things I want to get first back on the mainland. This elevator seems less like an elevator and more like a prison. Which is appropriate because it looks like this entire building is some sort of prison complex. If we outwit the mechanism here, we can get a goodie. By riding down on the top of the elevator, we have access to a little caved out area in the wall. Our reward is a scimitar and some repair powder. Had we not gotten a scimitar from one of the Varangians last time, then this would be quite useful. But for now, let's just be happy we get a free repair powder and be on our way. Careful manipulation of elevators and their mechanics can net you some pretty nice rewards in this game, so when you find one, be sure to explore its options thoroughly. Doesn't look like there's anything or anyone inside of those cells. Welcome to the Lost Bastille. Say goodbye to the Lost Bastille. We have things back to do in Majula. First order of business is to go check on Kerillian of the Fold. He doesn't have anything new for us at the moment, but I just want to make sure that he arrives safely. Now, for the next order of business, we're going to need some more souls, so let's go ahead and pop some of these consumable souls. You should, as a rule, save your boss souls.
Is that a shard you found?
And you should also, as a rule, upgrade your Estus flask when you have a shard.
Help you to see light, to see hope, however faint it might be.
I say this mostly to make myself look better, but it can be easy to forget when you actually have an Estus shard in your inventory. So a good rule of thumb to make sure that you keep your flask upgraded is just to talk to the Emerald Warden whenever you see her. Emerald Herald, not Warden. Sorry, we were just in a prison.
Oh, who are you again? No, I'm not serious. You do have a rather pleasant scent. The type I'm quite fond of.
On our shopping list today, along with the checking to see how we're doing with our covenants, is a special ring that Xiaoqua sells. In particular, we want the Silver Cat ring, which reduces falling damage. It breaks the bank a little bit, but
Satisfied?
it's a worthwhile purchase for a lot of different
I'll
reasons.
never come back.
Alright, for this next part, what we're going to want to do is equip all of the items that we have that will increase our maximum health. We also want to make sure that everything is fully repaired and ready to go.
I knew you.
Now, I said that I would not be using the Ring of Life Protection very often, and I won't, but when deadly falls are involved, I do like to wear it as a way of just sort of protecting myself from weird gravity mechanics. So along with the Silver Cat Ring and our insurance policy, we want to equip the Life Ring and the Way of Blue Ring. Those both increase our hit points by a little bit. I'm not sure what the exact number is, but in order to successfully survive this fall, you do need a minimum number of hit points. It's not a huge amount, fortunately, but it's something to be aware of, because the Silver Cat will not protect you from falls that would otherwise be lethal. Before you venture down into the pit, you're going to want to equip any healing miracles you might know, as well as make sure that you're fully stocked on restorative items. Now, with the Silver Cat Ring equipped, the first jump is the most perilous one. Once you're actually down navigating these platforms, you won't take a lot more damage. Provided, of course, you know where to go. Now, your first instinct might be to try and drop down onto that sort of tied together little pole down there, but what you want to do is jump to this. Not only is there a goodie there for your troubles, the tied together pole, which doesn't look altogether too well put together, will actually break if you try to land on it, and that will more than likely result in your death. Alright, we're at our destination, so let's go ahead and rearrange our equipment. I'm going to keep the Ring of Soul Protection on. Ring of Life Protection on. Because there are a couple of things in this area that can kind of sneak up on you and kill you very quickly. Also because, I'm going to admit, it's a habit just to keep that equipped from other playthroughs. This is the Grave of Saints. This is an optional area. There's not a lot here, but there are a couple of valuable items. Let's go ahead and attune our Pyromancy spell that we got the other day. To use it, we also need to equip our Pyromancy Flame. Well, he seems to be having a good time, so I don't want to get in the way of that. This guy seems pretty busy, so let's leave him alone too. The primary enemy type of the Grave of Saints are these smelly rats. I suppose this is also a kind of Grave of Scent if you look at it that way. It seems the hollow that was pounding on the walls is actually ready to aggro us, but the one that was just sort of sitting there chuckling is completely fine with our presence. Almost everything in this area is weak to fire, so if you do have a Pyromancy Flame, I definitely recommend bringing it along with the Fire Longsword. Now, something you might notice right off the bat here is this large number of lockstone contraptions. Do not activate these. If you do, you will run out of lockstones. Most of these do not serve a purpose except for one specific PvP thing, so just save your lockstones here. I'm not going to get fooled again. There is one particular lockstone contraption here that does unlock an area with some bonus items, but I'm going to leave it alone for now because at the beginning of the game, lockstones are in very short supply. Half the reason we're down here is actually to get some more. This can sort of be a nasty newbie trap, because thus far it has been perfectly fine to just sort of stick a lockstone in whichever vaguely disturbing looking face wants one, but if you do that down here, you're not going to end up with anything except a bunch of weird rat trap. Rats like to drop from the ceiling and other various crawl spaces because they're rats and that's what they do. So keep your ear out for things that sound like they're falling or scuttling or making rat noises. That looks a lot bigger than a normal human skeleton. Maybe in the world of Drangleic, you need to just be huge to be a saint. Maybe that's like, instead of 2 miracles, you only need 1 miracle, but you need to be enormous. This area is pretty short, so we're already at the boss. And for the boss, we're going to want to equip the spear. The Fire Longsword will probably end up doing more damage in the long run, but there is a certain property of the upcoming arena that makes that a less than good idea. The fight starts out with a bunch of rats just pouring out from everywhere. The thing that makes swingy weapons a little difficult to use is the presence of these statues. If you're not careful, anything you swing around in here will just bounce off the statues and make you open to getting bit. And sometimes the hit detection is really weird and your spear bounces off of nothing. The key to this fight is to not get overwhelmed. Which is easier said than done, I admit. But you have more room than you think to run around. And the rats will not spawn endlessly. There is a maximum number that there can be on the screen at any given time. So if you start to get overwhelmed in one position, then just stop attacking, find a way through, and get to an area where there's less rats and recuperate. Also keep an eye on that petrification bar. Petrification will kill you once it fills up. No exceptions. Lock-on can be sort of unhelpful in this fight because there are so many enemies. Alright, once you kill enough rats, then the big guy comes out to play. He will always drop down near the door, and he has a weird little mohawk on him. If you kill this guy, the fight is over, so the minute he drops, you want to rush over and just hit him with everything you have. A reward for winning is the Royal Rat Vanguard Soul and a rat tail. Depending on the weapon you're using and your build, that fight can be very difficult, especially early in the game. Hey, buddy.
Leave this place, human. We have no time for thy kind. Humans bring nothing but filth. Is that a rat tail, human? Thou'st one of mine rat burrows conquered. This will not go unnoticed. Rejoice, for the right to serve me is now thine. Since thou'rt human still, permit me ask, wilt thou thy human soul surrender and pledge thyself to me? Swearest thou by the sweet-tempered sludge that laps at our bosoms?
Yeah, sure, whatever. I'm sure with all these souls we've got at least a couple human ones.
Thou hast the eyes of one who perceiveth true beauty. Human, thou mayst serve. Take this ring. It was forged by a human who was once among us. The ring draws to thee those who would defile our burrow. Wear the ring whenever thou art near, and destroy those who would dare provoke our ire. I will grant unto thee all thou shouldst so desire. I prithee serve with a true rat's honor. Speak thy mind, servant.
The Rat King has several gross items for sale, including poop. But what we really want are some corrosive urns. They're not very effective in the player versus environment kind of game, but against other players is a different story.
There has been much honor in thy service, despite the human blood coursing thy veins. I am merciful, and trusting thee as I would any rat. The insolent fools line up to trample upon our burrows. My servant, dispatch these invaders, and thy reward will be handsome indeed. Knowest thee of the lockstones, those odd contraptions fashioned by human hand long ago? Thou art human, and thence able. I know thy kind. Base plotters and schemers all. Put these contraptions to thy employ against thy foe. My servant, that I am not.
Since we picked up a couple rat tails on the way here, let's go ahead and offer them up.
My servant, destroy my enemies.
Well, that was certainly an interesting distraction. We'll explore the Rat King Covenant a little bit later. It's almost entirely PvP, so it does not really help us in our main quest at all, but it's an interesting diversion, and the rewards are quite good. The Rat King is not a liar. I'm gonna go ahead and put on the silver cat ring again here. There's a couple difficult jumps up here to make. This area is sort of strange. It's kind of a limbo between Majula and the Grave of Saints and another area. The disc chime is very unique. It's a catalyst for miracles that can also function as a fairly decent shield. For characters focusing on miracles, then it is a very nice pickup. These guys are undead citizens. Or mummies, if you want to be more accurate. They really only have one tactic. They charge up to you, and then they explode. They go down in one hit to just about anything, so a long, quick weapon like the spear will generally take them out before they're a threat. Great Heal requires much more faith than we have at the moment, but it's never bad to pick these things up when you find them. This rickety construction fills me with a sense of inexplicable dread. It's also a pain in the ass to navigate, so keep the silver cat ring on to save time. For instance, you can skip a lot of the ladders here going down if you just feel like taking a plunge. However, even with the silver cat ring, some jumps are still a little too dangerous to make unaided, so let's try and find a ladder here. It's a bit difficult since everything looks like a ladder. At the bottom of this little construction, we find a token of spite. These are rewarded when you successfully invade and kill another player. Oh, what? Oh. That statue just shot poison at me. I don't want to be here, particularly. The gutter is probably the darkest area in the game. Torches are almost mandatory here just to see what you're doing. Don't worry, we'll get more flame butterflies later. The light of the torch really helps here. unfortunately, it doesn't let us detect ground that will just collapse under our weight. But we found a bonfire, so let's get the hell out of here. This place is even grosser than the grave. Fresh air. That just about does it for today. We've got a few more things to do. Let's go talk to Lenegrast.
Oh.
See if maybe we can upgrade something. We've got quite the menagerie of weapons going here, so deciding just what we want to upgrade is actually a bit difficult. The fire longsword has done good by us, so let's do good by it. Same for the mace. Having a strike weapon ready is always a good idea.
I'll be around if you make it back.
We've still got quite a few souls left over, so let's talk to the Emerald
There.
Warden.
Seek this
Harold!
blessed-
I don't know why I keep calling her a warden. Generally speaking, I'm gonna try and keep Hal to be a fairly balanced character. Have as many options open as possible. With that, I think we're done for the day. Next time we'll go and explore the Lost Bastille some more now that we've got a couple lockstones to use. I hope to see you then.